Good afternoon. Can everyone hear me? Good, good. We're going to change track a little bit right now. Yes, Michael? And I'm here to speak to you a little bit today about Longwood University's experience with implementing EDS and how that impacts access and usage. Was that a good segue? Did that work? Thank you. Okay. The world is flat. Thank you for the people that laughed. Over the past 3 years, the Janet D. Greenwood Library at Longwood University sought to solve two challenges that we believed would flatten or level the playing field to access our periodical and monographic collections regardless of format. Our first access was challenge. So see, if I'm boring, you'd have something, right? If all of our databases are listed alphabetically, those with the names starting with latter letters suffer from the last name effect. Kurt Carlson's recent article, The Last Name Effect, How Last Names Influence Acquisitions Timing, reminds us of the elementary school lunchroom. So go back in time a little bit. And the W's were always last to get lunch in the cafeteria. Sorry, Liz Weidinger, all the other kids bought the chocolate milk again. You get none. So some of my psychological issues come out here. Keeping with this, indexing and abstracting databases are the access point to our periodical collections. Keeping with the chocolate milk scenario, database titles like sociological abstracts may not be searched. Now, we could list our databases by relevancy, but still, some are last in line. So our challenge was to get students to search those databases that were last in line with the others. Everyone gets chocolate milk. Our second challenge was the 80-20 rule. Some of you may remember Truesdale's work in 1969. If you like, you may raise your hands. No one? I do. In which he determined that 20% of the library's collection generates 80% of its overall circulation or use. Do we remember that? Please, someone say yes, we're on board. Good. So our question was largely fueled by our counter JR1 statistics, how to get greater use or at least more relevant access to our titles that were used less. Hernan, do you guys remember Hernan and McClure? Yes? Thank you, someone out there. He reminds us in his 2010 book, Accessing Service Quality, Satisfying the Expectations of Library Customers, that this 80-20 rule is still commonly found today. That's 40 years later. What are we doing? The solution that Longwood University found related to relevancy and not quantity. So I don't know how many of you remember the print thesauri of my youth. Eric, right? The descriptor. Yes, thank you. The thesaurus, the psychological index terms, Library of Congress subject headings, mesh terms, right? And we use these for relevancy. That's our belief. So our solution was not to increase the number of sources accessed. I have the same population. They're creating the same 10-page research papers with 10 citations. What we did want to be certain of is that there's a level playing field, that users receive the most useful resources. And old school that I am, I believed in the power of indexing. I believed in the power of those subject headings in my indexes and abstracts. And that led us to EDS. EDS provides the richest metadata through its proprietary indexing to make a meaningful discovery tool. From our research, EDS was by far the front runner in a metadata-rich discovery search that leveled the playing field and returned the most useful and relevant search results. And this is Longwood University's flat world. Now the primary access to our collections, regardless of format, is this one search box. We call it One Search, and nowhere on this platform does it say EDS, EBSCO. I searched EBSCO database. It has all of our own local branding. EDS gets no credit. Maybe I wasn't supposed to say that. Now, a few numbers. This was my experience last week, by the way, as I sorted through this. And after Oliver spoke about JR1 statistics, I don't know if any of my numbers are valid anymore. But back to the chocolate milk, right? Women's studies and psychological behavior sciences were at the end of our alphabet in our listing of databases. And as you can see, when we implemented EDS, our September 2010 search statistics dramatically and hugely increased in September 2011, leveling that playing field, getting those databases searched, which of course accesses our periodicals holdings. And even typically our most popular database, Academic Search Complete, showed increase in usage that was substantial. Literature Resource Center, huge increases in number of searches. And in this case, quantity did matter, size mattered. We hope that we've flattened our world of access. Most databases searched at once, and we're hoping that EBSCO continues to increase the wealth of resources in its foundation index. Right, Michael? Every day adding more, right? I have a list for you, by the way. And everyone gets chocolate milk. Next, on to our periodicals. I don't have any fancy spreadsheets like everyone else had, so I apologize. Journal usage. Okay, and this came from our independent vendor of our counter JR1 statistics. So for the month of September, comparing September 2010 to 11, overall title article access was up 5%. So that's pretty good. Yes? Thank you. Anybody out there that said yes? Now, there could be a slight change in our population. We have new faculty members on board. There could be some other reasons for this. I don't give EDS all the credit. However, and we'll need more time to substantiate that, when we looked at the top 100 titles used, relevancy, who's using what, the difference between September 2010 and 11, we were up 20% in relevancy of what people were using. The number one title use from September 10 to 11, it was up 43%. And the number two title, 92%. That's just crazy. I know. Isn't that exciting? We thought so. And if you have questions about my numbers, I think Oliver could answer anything. You can take those questions, Oliver. So, access and usage, that was our challenge. We believe that EDS met that challenge for us and with us. Of course, much more data will be needed to confirm our hypothesis that by flattening out access, that we will be able to move to more accurately gauge what sources in our collection are useful and relevant. And as far as ease of access, I have two testimonials that I'd like to share with you. Okay? Everyone finished with the cartoon? No? All right. I'll wait.